Oh, what the hell? This was all gone about a week ago.
For crying out loud. Bastard. Find my magic book.
Ooh, Acid Storm. Oh, hello everyone. Looking to solve a little weather issue of mine. Anyway, speaking of magic, today's movie is particularly magical based, and should be somewhat familiar to a lot of you right now, because we just saw a live action version of it. I'm not even kidding you. Today's movie we're talking about Doctor Strange. Coming to you live from 2007, we have the animated short film Doctor Strange, made by Marvel Studios before their particular movie franchises actually started to take off big time. So, what do I say about Doctor Strange that hasn't been said about the live action version? This one's a little bit shorter, running about an hour shorter than the original version, but still keeping most of the major ideas of it, mostly that Dormammu is trying to force his way into the same physical plane as Earth and is planning to take over, destroy all life, etc., etc. There's a few other different little twists in this version, I will give them that much. They didn't completely copy it wholesale, but the basic idea of Dormammu trying to come here and Stephen becoming the Sorcerer Supreme and having to drop his doctorhood to become the Sorcerer Supreme Doctor Strange is still very much a prevalent part of this, as well as Dormammu himself, who actually becomes more of a actual upfront villain and less of a guy who's summed up because of Lackey, who is technically main villain. Although someone does technically try to help him in the middle of this film, but that's for the twists for you to watch. Anyway, aside from that, obviously, if you've seen the new Doctor Strange movie, you know that the story is very solid, and despite the slight differences between this and a 2-hour version with some better actors in it, it's still a very solid story and very well voice acted. The problem tends to be with this one is that I think the budget wasn't quite there. This was actually part of an ongoing series of cartoon movies for Marvel, and while the first one, which was an Avengers movie, was really good and very well received, the second one was a bit lacking and also received less money. So the budget for finishing this and a couple of other movies became much smaller until they finally stopped, I believe, on The Incredible Hulk vs. Wolverine, but correct me if I'm wrong. Aside from that, the same story that you got in the Doctor Strange live-action movie, you'll get here. A lot of it is very much similar. Stephen gets in a car accident, destroys his hands, seeks out everything he can, is confronted by someone who knows more about magic than he does, and is told to go, in this particular case, to Tibet. There he meets the Immortal One, who decides to help Stephen learn the arts of magic, and is helped to not only get past his hand injuries, but also learn to become the Sorcerer Supreme, which he is very quickly becoming destined to do, because he is underneath his facade of a man who's in it only for the money. he does have a heart of gold that's just buried down in there. It was mostly, in this case, and for this case of the story, was harmed and covered up by the fact that he tried to save his sister's life. But she died on his operating table. Henceforth, he has put a wall between himself and everyone else around him. The Immortal One helps him finally break down this wall, and teaches him new ways of being able to help others and save more lives. Sadly, this comes at a cost, as Dormammu has already found his way through, and pretty much sets about killing all the other sorcerers except for Stephen himself and a few others. So, in a nutshell, like I said, very much the same. Still a very competent story, very well acted as far as I'm aware. I don't know any of the actors that are in it. None of the names popped up to me, at least. I don't know. I'm not a huge voice actor fan myself. But I will say that the one thing that this movie does suffer is, I think, a lack of budget in the animation department, as the animation can get quite choppy at times.
I could imprison you here, like the children.
And Dr. Strange would then release me.
And what is it you offer?
You see this here? He's supposed to be talking. I don't see his lips moving. The slightly twitchy art and sometimes not properly lip-synced art is by no means a major takeaway from this. If you've not actually seen the current live-action movie, and shame on you, you can still see this and still get the basic ideas of what the actual live-action movie is going to be before you actually go head on into it. There are more details in the live-action movie, and there are a few more characters delved into a bit more deeply within it as well. But for the most part, this is a solid take on it. If you want at least a basic idea of where startup for Doctor Strange will begin, from now on, it's probably going to be this and the upcoming live-action movie if you haven't seen it already. It should hopefully be on DVD pretty soon by now, if it isn't already. I don't know, I don't keep track of DVD releases. I find them when I find them. So, with that being said, relatively short review, and yes, we fell behind because of the goddamn snow again, which is why I'm still going to be delving into this little sucker and trying to find me some answers for dealing with snow. Acid rain sounds like a good one. Understaff. They're not there. I can summon away the snow. I think we have our answer. To the enchanting table!